back to another channel. I'm JMJ Bookcorner, and today we are going to be doing something I've always wanted to do, but I could never figure out how to do it. I officially have an idea. I'm so excited. As you guys can tell from the thumbnail and stuff, we're doing the Bookish Award 2025 edition. These are all books I read this year that have qualified for these different types of award. We will summarize it up. Essentially, I'm giving Oscars to books instead of movies, and they are categorized by best costume design. However, best costume design does have an underlining category that could relate to the books I chose, which I'll explain those as we go through them. If you want to do this yourself and you want to do like a little listicle, or if you're a content creator and you think this is a cool idea, I will link all the questions down below. Personally, you only need to put one answer, but I think it's more fun to have three options, and I can talk through all three options and then reveal who won the Oscar. That's the plan. First things first though, the books that will not be mentioned are my own. I had joked there's a best actor award, best director, something like that. I had joked maybe, or best original screenplay to put myself in here, but I felt like it was a little too narcissistic. So I did write and publish 3 books this year. It feels weird. One of these I wrote and published this year. 2 of these have been written. They got published this year. Essentially, it's a trilogy. It's called GSR. The first book is called Gunshot Residue. It follows Alex as he believes his husband is cheating on him, and he soon learns that there's big mysteries at overall, and that's all you really need to know. All 3 are available. The second one is P49. The third one is Mr. and Mr. St. James. I absolutely adore all of these. I personally would say that they're my favorite covers I have this year. Also did not make the list. It's fine. If you see me, so these are them. If you want to get them, there are links down below in this video in the description, but there's also going to be, you can also go to my website jacobwilliambooks.com to find links if you want to go shop elsewhere. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into this video, which I'm really looking forward to. Like, I'm very excited. This is like I think gonna be one of my most anticipated videos I'm gonna film every year going forward. So we're doing the Bookish Awards. Essentially, I put together a little bit of a slideshow for you. If you see me looking downwards this way, this is my listicle. If you see me looking over here, this is where the actual slideshow is. However, I have presented in other places as well. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. All right, the first category is Best Costume Design. Now, Best Costume Design in the Book Awards represents my favorite cover I bought this year. So I went through all the titles that I bought this year and all my book hauls and stuff, and I picked 3 options. Our 3 options are Cabiases by R. Kwong, Mayfly by C.J. Lead, Better in Black by Cassandra Clare. For options like this, I did not need to read the book this year. Mayfly, for instance, I read in 2023, I think. However, I bought it this year, so it does have being contender. Both Cabiases and Better in Black are brand new releases, so they technically would have did it no matter what. Went you down. Also, the book did not need to come out this year to be nominated for these awards. I just had to have read it. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. That being said, the winner, my favorite book that I bought this year, like cover-wise and just everything else, like I just enjoyed everything about it. The inside jacket, the sprayed edges. I've talked about this many times. This is not really that shocking. The award will go to Cabiases by R. Kwong. I think they just did a phenomenal job. I wish the book lived up to the amazingness that the cover did. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think the cover is the best thing about the entire book. So next one is Best Musical Score. Best Musical Score is a best music in a book to movie adaptation. This could be a TV show to, movie. I'm gonna say best book adaptation. This is book to movie, but I do think TV shows do count. I did not pick a TV show. I did just squarely do movies. First one would be Caught Stealing. I adored the music for this movie. Regretting You. It's not my favorite music, but I think it is like one of the better soundtracks. And then I Know You Did Last Summer. Now, before I get any comments out there being like, I Know You Did Last Summer is a requel to a book that wasn't really adapting a book, but it said it was, and then the author denounced it. I understand the concept, however, it has the same title, so fight me. Honestly, fight me, because it does have the best soundtrack out of the 3 of these. And I went through my phone, I went through all the movies that I watched this year. I've seen quite a few. By far, I think these are the ones that stood out to most of me. If we were just doing actual scores, which maybe I should have done instead of actual soundtracks, we maybe would have had a different conversation. Soundtrack-wise, these are my top 3. Next category is Best Cinematography. Best Cinematography is a best plot twist in a book, and so I did get 3 here. However, I'm not gonna lie to you, one of these is controversial. And it's this one. Just for the Summer is one of those ones that I personally think has a fucking amazing plot twist. I haven't made fun of for it though. We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter also has a pretty good plot twist. And then also Death of an Author by Nanowrimo Okafor also has a great plot twist. Now for these books, I'm going to explain a little bit about them so you have an understanding. Just for Summer is a romance, a contemporary companion romance in Everyone's Part of This World trilogy. It's the 3rd book in that trilogy. And I just really liked, I didn't see it coming. it coming at all. All the signs were there. It's probably not even meant to be a plot twist, but to me it was a plot twist and it broke my brain. We're All Guilty here follows two girls who go missing during the 4th of July, and we're following someone who is trying to solve this case, and the way it spirals. Death of an Author follows a woman who cannot walk, and she ends up writing a futuristic sci-fi story that shows that it has like someone who can have like robotic limbs and stuff to fix her disease, and this ends up being adapted, and so we're showing an author growing greatly into fame while also talking about her book pretty exclusively. And so, but it also is absolutely crazy third act, and I have to give it to Death of an Author because I was shook it. I wasn't sobbing like I was for Just for the Summer. I do think the twist is more deserved for Death of an Author. The next one is Best Visual Effects. This is Best Action in Books. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I don't think I did a good job this year of reading enough action books, or enough action that stuck with me. A lot of these books did not stick with me, so we're gonna talk about them. We have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the newest Hunger Games. This is Hamish's story. It's the 15th Hunger Games, and it's a quarter quell, so 48 people go in, and so there is a lot of action in it. To be fair, The Blade Itself by Joe Akame it's a grimdark fantasy novel. It's about a group of people who are trying to do something I couldn't really tell you, but I was blown away by the action. That some of those sequences did stick with me, even if the plot did not. And then Defiant is the final book in the Skyward series, at least of right now. There's been rumors that there could be more. Skyward is about a girl who wants to become a part of a flight academy to honor her dad, who has been, you know, essentially the whole entire place is like said, no, her dad's like a horrible person, and she wants to honor him, and so she joins the rankings. Defiant has been nominated for multiple awards today. You'll see her pop up again. And I would have to say, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think Defiant has my favorite action in all the books. That's some of my favorite moments, I think, in the entire series. However, Skyward is still like one of my favorite action books, but I did not initially read it this year. I did a reread of it. So am I giving Defiant an award in proxy for the series that it was part of? Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay. Out of the three of these, I think Defiant stuck with me the most, though, so that's all good. The next one is Best Documentary. This is either Best Nonfiction or Historical Fiction. I don't read historical fiction, so I don't have nothing on here. I'm sure I have books on here that you're like, that's a historical. Like Kobayas, this is technically a fantasy historical. We have other ones coming up that could also be counted as historical. I don't deal. So I just went full nonfiction. Is Alison Center's My Well-Adjusted Despite Literally Everything memoir. Absolutely adored. This is about her time growing up in Hollywood, starting out, how big people told her career was going to be, and her eating disorder, her relationship with God. All that is presented here. We have One Day Everyone Will Have Been Against This by Omar El-Akkad. This is a story about everything going over in Gaza right now, the genocide that's happening as we speak, that is continuing to happen, that Hollywood is continuing to make it seem like it's their fault. It's fucking crazy. And we're also talking about his in-life stories as well. I think it's a perfect balance between stories that are happening in real time and his own personal stories. It was beautiful. Highly recommend. And then we also have, I recommend all these. We have Autopsy of an Ex-Teen Heartthrob by Avan Yogi. I think it's how I pronounce it. That is Beck from Victorious. I think it's what he's most known for. I've seen a lot of things. He's also now getting married to Halsey. So I absolutely adored that book as well. I adored all three of these. They all had different opinions on them. I think I have videos talking about them all throughout my channel in case you want to see my reviews and stuff. However, in my opinion, the one that is truly going to stick with me the most, the one that really just shows you how much of an advocate that you need to be, and you cannot let things that people want to smother go away. All of these things are very important. However, One Day Everyone Will Always Be Against This is by far one of the best books I've read this year. One of the hardest books I've read this year. It deserves the award. Moving on is Best Short Film. This is anything shorter than 300 pages in my opinion. So all these books are less than 300 pages. The first one is No Body, No Crime by Tess Sharp. Apparently Tess Sharp is a pretty popular author. I did not know this. I thought Tess Sharp was brand new. No Body, No Crime follows two women. They commit a crime when they're 16 years old. One of them ends up living a normal life because she's not really associated with her, and the other one ends up running away. When she is older, she becomes a PI, and the other girl's dad is dying, and she asks, can you go find her? So that's what she does. It is sapphic and very action-packed. Honestly, the action in this is pretty good. It should have been nominated for the Best Action Awards. Then we have have Model Home by River Salzman. This is about a family who essentially, when they're younger, their parents move them into an all-white neighborhood. They're a black family, and it's talking about the racism and ridicule that they dealt with, while also the kids believe the house is haunted. The parents end up dying, and all these kids have to come back. There's like 3 or 4 of them have to come back to work through their parents' belongings and stuff, equaling why it's called Model Home. It is a horror novel. It's like a haunted house story. However, I always have a hard time recommending it due to its extreme graphic nature. And we also have The Unworthy, another really graphic book by Augustine Oretzia. This is the author of Tender as the Flesh. This is the book that she wrote after that. This is about 2 Catholic nuns. One of them, in the school they're in, they're being tortured to help devote themselves to Christ, and then they end up in a lesbian relationship. Lots of lesbians in this category. All these books are queer. Every single book in this category is queer. She ends up in a relationship with somebody else, and it's following that experience and how much sin can take over and stuff. It's very thought-provoking. There's like 2 scenes in this I cannot let go of, and so it deserves to be on this list. However, Model Home is going to take it for me. Model Home is a very special book that I'm so grateful that I read. Once again, I just wouldn't probably recommend it to anybody because it's like a little life. I don't know if I would put someone through that type of pain. I've heard people say it's not as graphic as I make it out to be. Maybe it just felt so personal to me that it felt like I was getting slapped in the face 1,000 times and I was bloody by the end, because that really is kind of what it felt like. The next one is Best Animated Feature. This is a book that would work well in animation and or Best Comic Book. And personally, I only chose comic books or manga to be on this list. These are all comic books, and I would think that they would all look really good in animation. I think they all look really good in animation. All adult animation as well. So we have Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. This is by Patrick Novak. This is a story of a serial killer bear as they're killing animals, and then another serial killer is being a little bit more loudly about it. And so going back, I think this would be an amazing miniseries on I don't know, maybe be like a really good indie miniseries. I don't know. I would adapt it immediately. We also have Spectators, which is a very, very adult book. This follows a woman. She's the one on top as she dies in a very brutal way, and she becomes a spectator of the world, where she is following the guy below her around as they see the horrificness of the world, the debauchery, one would say. Murder, sex, mayhem, you name it, it's all in here, and I think it would work really well as I would say as like a short film, maybe Love Monsters and Robots or something like that, like something in those lines. I think it could really work really well there. I don't know if it would work well in a longer period, but I think a short film, a short animated feature, I think would be great here. It is a pretty long novel, so I guess you could probably adapt it pretty well, but it's so graphic that a lot of it, I don't know if it could make it. And then we have Earthdivers. Earthdivers as a series. This is just the cover for book 1. This is by Stephen Graham Jones. This is about Native Americans who go back in time to kill Christopher Columbus before he, evades America. That's the whole point of it, and I think it would be an absolute beautiful adaptation as well. However, the one that intrigues me the most here is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, just because of the concept of it all. I think there could be a lot of fun things happening, so that's what I went with. The next one is Best Adapted Screenplay. This is best book adaptation. Movies, TV shows, whole 9 yards. Now, I've not seen every movie adaptation. I've not seen every TV show adaptation, so I chose 3 that I really, really enjoyed. First one being, we already talked about, which was Caught Stealing. I didn't talk about what Caught Stealing was about when I mentioned Caught Stealing. That was a problem. I didn't think about it. But Caught Stealing follows our main character, that is Austin Butler. He's the one in the back, as he is looking after the cat of, I can't think of his name, the one with the mohawk, and ends up running away from the mob. It's a fast-paced, adrenaline junkie. Seems like an early 2000s film that I fucking adored. We have Nickel Boys, which is an extremely heart-wrenching and hard novel. This is about a boy who ends up going to a reformatory school in the, I guess it's historical fiction, in the 60s. It's obviously segregated, very racist, and it's about his events at the school that's called Nickel Boys. And it's deeply horrifying and deeply uncomfortable and deeply beautiful as well. The cinematography, the way it's directed, the way they put you in the eyes of these 2 boys is just so touching and beautiful. Then lastly, we have La Cons in the Cornfield. This is an adaptation of one of my favorite books of all time. I do think the movie gets better with every rewatch. It's not as annoying as I had remembered when I rewatched it for Halloween. Have I seen other ones that maybe, I'm thinking maybe Heated Rivalries or should be on here or something? I don't know. by the way. We went with Nickel Boys because I had to go with Nickel Boys. Nickel Boys is a movie that I saw like the second week of January, and it has stuck with me. It has implanted itself in my body and will not let go. It is so beautifully shot. It's so beautifully done. I gave all these movies. I gave Constant Cornfield like a 4. I gave all these movies the other 2 a 5-star. I would highly recommend all 3 of them though. I think they're all 3 streaming too, so you can probably watch them somewhere. Next one is Best Original Screenplay. Best Original Screenplay is Most Unique World. So this is specifically talking about the world that they're in, not the story itself. The first one is The Manifester. Nick Blake and the Remarkables, The Manifester. Prophecy. I wanted to mention this. Andy Thomas really went out and said, I want to make a very unique world. This is a fantastical world that I absolutely adored. We're following Nick Blake. Her dad, essentially, we learn, kidnapped her from her mom to keep her from this magical realm. He is still teaching her magical realm. She has, like, it's like a baby, I can't think of what it's called, but like it's a creature, and she has a best friend, and she realizes she's been kidnapped. Her dad is going on trial. It's a whole thing. It's beautiful, but the world itself that's built around it, absolutely gorgeous. Could not recommend it more. We have The Final Empire. This is the first book in the Cosmere. This is Mistborn Book 1. This follows Vin as she learns that she is the Mistborn, and Mistborn can control all copper and things. I can't think what that's called. You know what I'm talking about. And I also think it's absolutely gorgeous. And lastly, we have Murder by Memory by Olivia Wright. This is a murder mystery story written from the perspective of someone who has died, who is solving the murder in a different body, as they have, you can transfer your books, your mind into books that can be uploaded into other hives. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, I went with Murder by Memory because I just, out of all of these ideas, I would have loved to be that. I would love to put my mind into a book and be cemented forever. You don't have to come back, you don't have to be resurrected, it's not necessary, but you can, so that's where we went. I would say it's a very big toss-up between all 3 of these. I really love what Angie Thomas did for Nick Blake. I think there's something truly special there. And obviously, I'm just now getting into the Cosmere, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous, but I do think next year, there is a tempting that, you know, The Way of Kings or something could take the cake or something. Let's hold off on Brandon Sanderson just for a little bit. I also love what he did with Skyward as well, to be fair. The next category is supporting actor or actress. This is the best supporting characters, male or female, it does not matter, or non-binary. I had a hard time with this category, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know why I'm gonna go with. I had a hard time with this category, I'm not gonna lie to you. So we went with Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer I'm not done with as a series, however, I read the first 9 volumes so far, which is, it's a pretty big set, and I do love the side characters. Cassandra is really the main character, and you have Inosuke and Zensuke, who are like, you know, things, but Nezuko I think is my new favorite character of the year. She has to be nominated for it alone. Defiant once again is nominated again, however this is for Skyward as a general. I love Skyward's side characters and stuff. I also love how a lot of them are spotlighted in other novellas. Some of my favorite things you want to read from a side character you love, here you go. So I'm not complaining, I think it's great. And then also I put Hamjung Luck by Manka Yamamoto. This is about a person who comes out of prison, and they're able to do one last heist, and it's about the group, and it's like has found family and stuff. It's very adorable. I loved all the characters in this as well. Also has a good like romance. The main character is trans. I mean, there's like a lot of good representation there. However, Nezuko is my new favorite character, so she did win. Oh, I hope that's understandable. Best actor is best male MC, so we're specifically talking about the characters themselves. So the first one is Jake from Yours Truly. I'm so sorry how abysmal that looks. That was the way it moved over. Jacob is the love interest in this book. I objectively didn't like this book. However, he is by far my favorite book boyfriend out of this year. There is just something so tender and sweet and amazing about him, and I just fucking adore him. We have Kel here from The Final Empire. I love Kel here so much. And if you've read the book, I think you know why. And then we have Des from I Think They Love You by Julian Winters. Des is the main character. I also love the love interest. This is a fake dating person. The main character needs someone's getting like their wedding planners and stuff, and so he needs someone to go around to all these events. His ex decides to be a part of it, so it's like a second chance fake dating. Absolutely adored it. However, there's something about Jake that throughout the entire thing I was just like, you are the perfect man. He needs to win. Best actress is the best female MC, and I really did try to focus on female MCs. So we are all guilty here. This is Emily. She is the person I just talked about when we talked about the plot for this. So we're gonna go ahead and move straightforward. How to Become a Dark Lord and Die Trying by Danjo Wexler is Davi is the main character here. And Davi's job, essentially she's in a world where she's relived the life 1,000 times. Really graphic portrayals of a lot of triggering topics here as well, so please look them up. Just look up all the books. Just look up all the books. She ends up, one of these times she comes back to life, she decides that winning this battle against good versus evil is not working, so she's going to go become evil and do it instead. And so she becomes the Dark Lord. Very tongue-in-cheek, very talking to the author, like narrator, type thing. Absolutely adored it. Davi is such a good character as well. Then we have Margot's Got Money Troubles by Ruthie Thorpe. I love Margot so much. I don't know why I love Margot so much, but she is a character that has stuck with me as well. Margot is someone who, so the story follows her. She gets pregnant from her teacher, drops out of college, and now is trying to make money to help support her child. The teacher does not want to support. She moves in her ex-wrestling father. She joins OnlyFans and becomes an OnlyFans creator while also being a mother, and it's about the complications of it all, and I loved it. So I gave Margot her win. I feel like she deserves. I do feel like Elle Fanning could possibly, depending on the performance next year, take home an Emmy for it, or at least be nominated for it. So maybe I'm predicting the future. The next one, the second to last category, is Best Director. This is a brand new to me author. We have Javier Mendez. I did use actual pictures of the authors because I think that makes more sense. Javier Mendez has written, she was on this list for Just for the Summer. She is an author who writes contemporary romances, and I read all of her books this year. Every single one of them. Emma Long wrote Blood Over Brighthaven. She's also written a few other things, but I know her from Blood Over Brighthaven. And then we also have Gardo Savara Kavanava, I think, and he is the author of Monstrilio. I think he's written some other stuff as well. These are all three authors I am definitely planning on picking up some in the future. However, I did have to go to the one that I read the most of because I objectively know I love her writing and how her characters develop and the way she tells stories, and that's Javier Mendez. Both of them also tell very beautiful, very complex stories, so I'm really excited to see what those look like in the future. However, right now, this is where we're at. Then last we have Best Picture. Now, I was going at Best Picture a lot of ways. The term that's going to be used down below is Best Standalone. I think this could also be your favorite book of the year. Like your top 3, and then you pick your favorite from your top 3. I did just go full on standalones. None of these books are in my top 10 of the year, just to give you a heads up. So we're going directly standalones. I followed the prompt and did not embellish. The first one would be the favorites. This follows 2 ice skaters as they take over the world with their very toxic romance. I adored it. So definitely picking up more from Lane Fargo as well. The next one is Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Long. This has one of the most interesting, complex magic systems I've ever seen, and it made me fall in love with the idea of mathematician and magic together. I took some ideas. I'm not gonna lie. There's a way that they describe how certain magic stuff works, and I'm like, that's so cool. I'm gonna try to adapt that into something of my own, but not fully, make it my own, type of thing. It's absolutely beautiful. There's something about it that's amazing. As far as the girl, it's kind of historical in a way, I guess, in this magical world. She ends up being invited into this college to work on this problem that they're having. I fucking adored it. I absolutely adored it. Then last we read Brighter Than Scale, Swifter Than Flame by Neon Yang. As follows a dragon fighter chasing down a dragon and its clear base. I like to say nothing about this book because I personally feel like the synopsis, the blurb, everything else gives too much away. So if you like Dragon Fighter, hunting a dragon, I think it's for you. And if you like a sapphic romance on top of that, or a lesbian romance on top of that, also think for you. However, I did have to go with Blood Over Brighthaven for my win here. There's just something about it that I just think the magic system is just too amazing for me not to talk about. But guys, that is the end of this video. Let me know what you guys think of the Bookish Awards. I'm so excited. This is a video that I've been anticipating doing for a very long time, so I'm just happy to be here. And let me know if you want to do it next year. I have plans to. I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.